Thank you for calling JetBlue. My name is Annette. How may I help you today?
Good morning, Philly.
Hi, Annette. We are interested in booking 2 tickets, traveling with my disabled son, and we'll need some special consideration for his wheelchair and equipment. I would also be traveling with additional carry-ons that are respiratory equipment for Philip.
Any kinds of assistive devices, of course, he's allowed to bring with him in this carry-on.
We would also require bulkhead seating.
That should be available. We do have even more space in our bulkhead seating, and you are allowed to sit with your son. He can have one companion with him sitting on the bulkhead seating.
Okay.
And do you prefer the window or aisle seat?
Okay, he usually likes the aisle. He cannot walk at all, so we would take his chair to the gate.
We can add that notice to the reservation as well. If there's anything else that we can help you with in booking your reservation, just give us a call back, okay?
Okay, thank you so much, Annette.
Good?
Yes. Traveling with a disabled person is very challenging. There's equipment involved and the wheelchair, and these are all very special things, very important to the person. And the challenges are always there.
I'm Aurea. I am 13 years old and I'm in 8th grade.
KEANUS. I'm 14 years old.
Hi, I'm Rihanna. I'm in 7th grade.
My name is Tiffany. I'm in the 8th grade at the Henry Viscardi School, and I'm 14 years old.
Viscardi Center is this amazing place in Long Island where they help people who have disabilities, all ages, all different levels of disabilities, and they teach them different ways to help improve, empower their life. They teach them ways to help gain employment and just have a really full, productive life.
The mission of the Viscardi Center and the Henry Viscardi School is to educate, employ, and empower people with disabilities of all ages. We're one of the very few agencies in the United States that addresses these 3 pillars.
I've been in the Henry Viscardi School since, I think, kindergarten. So it's about 9 years I've been here. The most important thing I've learned while being in the Henry Viscardi School is to speak out for yourself, not be afraid to ask for help.
The Henry Viscardi School is teaching us how to deal with the future and how to handle it. I've learned that I can actually be myself. I don't have to worry about what other kids think of me because I'm in a wheelchair. Nobody stares at you. You're not different here.
When you send your child to a school like Henry Viscardi, you start to believe in your dreams a little bit more. You start to realize that he can be dependent on himself. He can be independent. He can live a normal life.
The partnership with JetBlue and the Viscardi Center is an important one. Learning more about air travel for our students and our participants in our programs and how we can go about being good travelers and being well prepared. JetBlue takes the time to think about each and every individual who's different.
JetBlue, along with the Viscardi Center, with regards to our partnership, we put together a flight for 12 students with disabilities from JFK to Boston.
JetBlue will probably learn how to accommodate to the needs of disabled people and how to manage their wheelchairs, how to make them comfortable in the seat of the plane.
At times, depending how long I'm sitting there, it gets uncomfortable. I'm looking forward to the JetBlue flight because I get to go with my friends, and I don't really get to hang out with them after school because they all live far.
What do you like about flying?
See the sky and the clouds.
Keanu is losing his vision, so we're
conscientious about making sure that he have all the visual memory that he could get now that he can still see.
Are you excited about the flight on Tuesday on JetBlue?
Yeah.
Are you nervous? That's okay, it's normal to be nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just so you know, everyone else is nervous too.
It's important for a child with a disability to travel because they need to have the same experiences that other children have. They are excited about things, they need to have adventures, they need to grow, and by having these adventures and traveling, they are growing physically, emotionally, and they are able to have the same experiences that other kids can have.
All right, now you're a special TSA.
Overall, I believe JetBlue Airways is doing a great job with educating our crew members.
When I first started with JetBlue, we went through extensive training of learning with different type of disabilities.
It was very important that we not only supported the students through this process, but we also learned from that process. We have learned as an organization, we're not perfect. This helped open up the eyes of crew members who don't deal with individuals with disabilities on a daily basis. And the crew members really took pride in taking care of these individuals, taking care of these students.
It really starts with just fundamental respect. I want them to see me as a person first, who happens to have a disability, who happens to have certain needs that need to be met.
I need this chair to move. Without this, I'm immobile. I can't do anything.
What I do personally when I go up to the customer on the jet bridge, I ask, how can I best assist you? And what can I do? Do I lift the seat up? Do I lift it from the handlebars? Do I turn the battery off at the end of the day? Just to get them interacting with me, and they love that. They love to know that you're actually willing to help and know about their wheelchairs, because that's their legs basically.
I think clearly the efforts that were shown to us today really do demonstrate a commitment and a willingness to learn what it takes to facilitate a very smooth transition for our kids. That commitment and dedication was clear just by the collective understanding and awareness that was really demonstrated with us today.
I feel like I was part of something special, because for most of the children on that flight, that was their first time flying. So I was more interacting with the kids, learning their names, what school they go to.
These children are so used to being discounted and so used to being looked over. It's a fantastic experience for them to be treated like a VIP and, may feel important and that someone actually cares. People with disabilities is not people to be ignored, it's not a burden to society. They offer something that is intangible, nothing that you could learn, nothing that you could buy, but they offer something that's intangible. So it's important for us to do whatever we can to enhance their experience, to enable them.
When I get older, I would like to be an engineer and make things to make the world a better place. I would love to help people with disabilities who are like me and other disabilities, like if they can't speak or if they have trouble moving their arms. I like helping people.
Do you think that you know what you want to be when you grow up?
I think I want to be a chef. I like cooking a lot.
I like art because it's a way of expressing myself, not through words, which I'm not that great at. I basically enjoy any type of artwork.
The kids are amazing. They have so much enthusiasm.
I absolutely, along with my team, have truly enjoyed getting to know these children.
On July 12th in New York City, there's going to be a huge celebration with a parade to celebrate the 25th anniversary for the ADA. JetBlue is going to be participating with the Viscardi Center and the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities. We decided to partner with Viscardi because we have the same goals as them. We just want to celebrate people with disabilities and say, you know what, this was 25 years ago and look how far we've come.
It was 10 blocks from Madison Square Park to Union Square Park. The pride of our JetBlue crew members and the Viscardi Center students was amazing. Not only are you proud for the organization that you are associated with, but you are also proud of marching alongside your friends.
It's hard to believe that 25 years has gone by since the ADA was passed. It seems just like a blink. But life has gotten so much better for people with disabilities, and yet we still have so much further to go. So I'm really pleased that we are stopping for a moment to celebrate all the successes that have happened, how people with disabilities have literally been elevated in the eyes of the public and employers to really be regarded as equals, and that we're valued customers that companies want. They want our money, they want our business, they want to treat us right, and we are so hungry to be wanted and needed. It's a great day in America, and we have a long way to go, but we will get there together.